My name is Daniel Hayes, and the night that changed everything began as a celebration I had planned for months. My 35th birthday. The restaurant was glowing with golden lights, laughter filled the air, and everyone seemed happy. I had reserved an entire rooftop space overlooking the city, determined to make it a night to remember. My wife, Clara, had insisted on inviting a mix of my friends, colleagues, and some of hers. I didn't think much of it at the time. I trusted her completely. But that trust would shatter before the night was over. As the music played and people danced, I noticed Clara laughing louder than usual, her attention fixed on a tall man in a sharp gray suit named Ethan, one of her co-workers I'd met once before. At first, I brushed it off as harmless fun. But when the DJ turned up the volume and a slow dance began, I froze. Ethan extended his hand toward Clara, and to my disbelief, she took it. They danced close, too close, her hand resting on his shoulder while his lingered at her waist. My friends glanced at me awkwardly, unsure whether to look away or pretend they didn't see. My chest tightened as I forced a smile, pretending it didn't matter, pretending I wasn't watching my wife move in sync with another man as if I were invisible. Then came the moment that burned itself into my memory. Ethan dipped his hand into his pocket, pulled out a roll of cash, and began slipping dollar bills into Clara's hand as they danced, laughing like it was some inside joke. The room went silent. Even the music seemed to fade for a second. I saw a few guests exchanging uncomfortable looks, but no one said a word. I stood there, a host at his own celebration, humiliated by the woman I loved. My best friend Mark approached me, whispering, "You gonna let that slide, Dan?" I took a long sip of my drink, feeling the burn in my throat and the sting in my chest. "Not tonight," I said quietly. I wasn't going to explode or make a scene, not because I was weak, but because I wanted every person in that room to see how respect could be reclaimed with silence and precision. After the dance ended, Clara came over to me, smiling awkwardly. "You're not mad, are you?" "It was just fun." I looked at her calmly and said, "Fun? You call taking money from another man at my party fun?" Her smile faltered, and she tried to laugh it off, but the tension around us was thick enough to cut through. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I just nodded and said, "I hope you enjoyed yourself, because this was your last dance with me." Then, I turned to the mic and clinked my glass. "Everyone," I said, my voice steady, "thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate your time, your laughter, and your company. But this celebration has come to an end. It's been enlightening." The silence that followed was heavy. I left the party right then, walking out into the cool night air while the murmurs grew behind me. I didn't go home. Instead, I checked into a hotel, sat by the window overlooking the city lights, and thought about how small moments can reveal truths you never wanted to see. The next morning, Clara called over and over, her messages shifting from guilt to anger to tears. But I didn't respond. That week, I filed for separation. A few months later, when the papers were finalized, she showed up in court looking smaller, quieter. She whispered, "I didn't think you'd actually leave." I looked her in the eye and replied, "You didn't think I'd see you for what you really are." She had danced for attention. I walked away for self-respect. That night taught me something powerful. Silence speaks louder than anger, and dignity never begs to be noticed. Now, whenever I think about that birthday, I don't remember the humiliation. I remember the freedom that followed, the moment I realized my worth didn't need validation from anyone, especially someone who never truly valued me.